I, 39M, have been married to my wife Lisa, 37F, for 11 years. We've got 2 kids, 8 and 5, and a cat that hates everyone equally. On the outside, our life looked boring but stable: school runs, soccer practice, weekend grocery trips, the whole normal family package. But lately, Lisa's been different. And not in the new haircut, new hobby kind of way. She's glowing. Smiling for no reason. Humming while she makes coffee. And most bizarre of all, she's vacuuming. Constantly. This woman has spent our entire marriage swearing she was allergic to dust. She wouldn't even empty the dishwasher without complaining, yet suddenly she's vacuuming 3 times a day: living room, bedrooms, even the garage. The damn garage. I swear I thought I'd walked into the wrong house the first time I saw her doing it. The neighbors noticed too. Mrs. Peterson, bless her nosy soul, leaned over the fence one day and whispered, "Lisa looks radiant lately." The soccer coach joked during practice pickup, "Man, Mark, your wife seems almost too happy. What's your secret?" I laughed it off, but inside, my stomach dropped. Too happy. Too different. Too distracted. It wasn't just the vacuuming. She started guarding her phone like it was nuclear codes. Late-night whispers in the bathroom, screen flipped down if I walked by. And once, when she thought I was asleep, I heard her say in that soft, syrupy voice she used to reserve for me, "Tomorrow again? Same time. I can't wait." That was the first time I felt my marriage wasn't safe. I couldn't shake it. The constant vacuuming, the weird phone calls, her glowing like she was on some secret honeymoon. Something was off. So one night, while Lisa was running out for groceries, I did the thing I swore I'd never do: I checked her phone. Don't roast me, Reddit. My gut was screaming, and my gut was right. She hadn't cleared her call log. There were repeated calls to a number I didn't recognize. Same area code, always around the time she claimed she was shopping or visiting her sister. I googled the number. Small appliance store. My first thought. No way. Who calls an appliance store that much unless they're dating the cashier? But then, things got worse. I checked her messages. She'd hidden a thread under a random contact name, allergy document. Cute, right? I open it and my chest goes cold. It wasn't medical advice. It was stuff like, asterisk, today was amazing, face blowing a kiss, can't believe how much I needed this. Asterisk, you make me feel alive again. Asterisk, tomorrow. I'll sneak away after lunch. Not a single mention of dust, sneezing, or appointments. Just raw emotional cheating, if not physical already. When she came home that night, I asked where she'd been. She tossed her purse on the counter, didn't even look me in the eye, and said, "Grocery store. You'd know that if you ever actually helped around here." That stung. Hard. Because I had the receipts, literally. I checked the trunk. No groceries. Not even a carton of milk. At that moment, I realized 2 things. 1, my wife was lying straight to my face. 2, whatever she was doing, it wasn't about groceries or allergies. The pit in my stomach had turned into a crater. And for the first time in our marriage, I started to wonder if I even knew who I was living with anymore. I couldn't hold it in any longer. The next morning, while she was sipping coffee and scrolling her phone like nothing was wrong, I just blurted it out. "Who's the allergy doc, Lisa?" Her head snapped up so fast you'd think I'd slapped her. She froze for a second, then rolled her eyes like I was the biggest idiot on the planet. "Oh my God, Mark. Really? You went through my phone. Do you know how pathetic that is?" Deflection. Classic. I didn't let up. Don't play games. I saw the texts. I saw the calls. You're sneaking around and lying to me. She slammed her mug down so hard coffee splashed everywhere. It's not what you think. He's just a friend I talk to. Someone who actually listens to me. Not like you, who's glued to spreadsheets and football games. That word, friend. Every cheater's favorite shield. My chest was burning. So friends tell each other they feel alive again. Friends meet in secret while lying about grocery shopping. She crossed her arms, leaned back, and smirked. Maybe if you'd paid attention to me the last 5 years, I wouldn't need a friend. That cut deeper than any admission of guilt. Not only was she not denying it, she was trying to make it my fault. I wanted to scream, throw things, demand the truth, but the kids were upstairs getting ready for school. So I just stared at her, jaw clenched, while she picked up her phone and muttered, "Unbelievable. You're paranoid." Paranoid. Right. Because paranoia comes with phone logs, love heart emojis, and lies about groceries. That was the morning I realized this wasn't going to be a small fight. This was a war brewing inside my own house. After that fight, Lisa doubled down on the lies. She went into overdrive with the vacuuming, like she thought scrubbing the carpet 3 times a day would erase the guilt. She was colder to me, snappy, bitchy even. Every question I asked was met with an eye roll or a sarcastic, "Why do you care now?" But the texts didn't stop. Neither did the late-night whispers. So, I did what any man with a sinking gut and a cheating wife would do, I followed her. One Thursday, she left the house around noon, claiming she was heading to Costco for snacks for the kids. I waited 10 minutes, then grabbed my keys and tailed her from a distance. My heart was pounding so hard I thought my steering wheel might explode. She didn't drive toward Costco. Nope. She went across town, parked in some small strip mall, fixed her hair in the mirror, and practically skipped into a tiny appliance shop. I parked 2 spots over and watched, trying to breathe. I expected to see some guy waiting for her, maybe arms around her waist. But instead, I saw her through the window, grinning like a teenager, while she stroked a damn vacuum cleaner. I'm not kidding. She was running her hands over a Dyson like it was a luxury car. And then the salesman came over. She laughed, touched his arm, leaned in close, whispered something that made him blush. That was my breaking point. I stormed in like a lunatic, and every head turned. Really, Lisa? A vacuum? This is where you sneak off to. The salesman almost dropped dead from laughing. Lisa, without missing a beat, smirked and said loud enough for everyone to hear. "Mark, this actually listens to me, cleans up my messes, and never argues. Can you say the same?" The shop went silent, then half the room burst into awkward chuckles. My face was burning. I didn't just feel betrayed. I felt humiliated. The ride home after the vacuum shop showdown was pure hell. I expected apologies, maybe tears, maybe even some half-truth that made sense. Instead, Lisa lit into me. "You embarrassed me in front of everyone, Mark. Do you know how insane you looked barging in there like some jealous psycho?" I was gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles went white. "Lisa, you've been lying to me for weeks. Sneaking around, whispering on the phone, pretending you're shopping when you're hanging out at a store to, what? Flirt with some salesman and fondle vacuums?" She scoffed. "Oh please. You're overreacting. He's just helping me pick the right model. Not that you'd know anything about cleaning since you leave everything to me." That one nearly made me choke. This woman hadn't touched a vacuum in over a decade until last month, and now suddenly she's Mrs. Domestic Goddess. I called her out, "You've hated cleaning since the day we got married. Now you vacuum 3 times a day like you're in love with the damn thing. What's really going on, Lisa?" And here's the kicker, she smiled. Smiled. Maybe I just finally found something reliable. Something that doesn't disappoint me. That wasn't just a jab. That was a knife to the chest and a twist for good measure. By the time we got home, I was shaking. Not just from anger but from humiliation. The neighbors waved at us, and Lisa waved back with that fake Stepford wife smile. The same neighbors who'd been commenting on how radiant she looked. If only they knew. That night, while she snored like nothing had happened, I lay awake staring at the ceiling. My mind was on repeat, the lies, the smirk, her words. Reliable. Doesn't disappoint. I realized I wasn't just fighting for answers anymore. I was fighting for my dignity. After that humiliating day, I knew one thing: Lisa wasn't going to hand me the truth. If I wanted it, I had to dig it up myself. So, the next week, I started paying closer attention. Every time she left, I noted the time, the excuse, and whether it lined up with the receipt she brought back. Spoiler, it didn't. One Costco run lasted 3 hours, but she came home with only a bag of paper towels. Another time, she said she was at her sister's, but her sister texted me later asking if Lisa was free to talk because she hadn't heard from her in weeks. That lie alone made my stomach twist. Then came the jackpot. One night, while she was in the shower, her phone lit up on the nightstand. The name was hidden under that same contact, allergy document. The message read: *Love today. Same time Friday. I'll have a surprise for you, winking face. I nearly dropped the phone. Surprise? Friday? My hands were shaking so bad I had to put it back before she caught me. Friday came, and I followed her again. This time, I stayed far enough back so she wouldn't notice. Same store. Same salesman. But what I saw this time wasn't just her laughing and touching his arm. No. She hugged him. Long, too long. And when she pulled back, she kissed him on the cheek and whispered something that made him grin like a teenager. I sat in my car, fists clenched, trying not to puke. When she came home later, she threw her keys on the counter and acted normal. Traffic was insane, she muttered. Then she kissed me on the cheek with the same lips she'd just used on another man. That was the moment my suspicion became confirmation. My wife wasn't just lying. She was cheating. And the worst part? She didn't even care enough to cover her tracks properly. I couldn't take it anymore. That night, after the "traffic was insane" lie, I snapped. The kids were upstairs watching cartoons, and I cornered Lisa in the kitchen. My voice was shaking, but loud enough for her to know I wasn't playing games. Stop lying, Lisa. I followed you. I saw you with him. Hugging him. Kissing him. Whispering in his ear like he's your teenage crush. Don't you dare tell me I'm paranoid again. Her face went pale for a split second, but then, just like that, her mask slid back on. Arms crossed, chin up, voice dripping with venom. So what if I did? At least he makes me feel wanted. At least he doesn't make me feel like a roommate in my own house. It felt like the air got sucked out of the room. My chest was pounding, my vision tunneling. We have 2 kids, Lisa. A family. And you throw it away for a guy who sells vacuums? She smirked. Don't be dramatic, Mark. He's more than a salesman. He listens. He makes me laugh. And he doesn't look at me like I'm a burden. I couldn't believe the words coming out of her mouth. No apology. No shame. Just straight up blame. I yelled, probably louder than I should have, "You're a liar. You've been sneaking around for weeks, gaslighting me, making me feel like I'm crazy. And for what? Some sleazy flirt at an appliance store?" The kids must have heard the shouting, because our daughter peeked down the stairs with wide eyes. I caught her gaze, and that broke me. I lowered my voice, but I couldn't stop shaking. Lisa, though. She didn't even flinch. She grabbed her purse, threw out one last dagger, "Maybe if you'd been half the man he is, I wouldn't need to look elsewhere," and stormed out the door. The sound of it slamming still rings in my ears. That was the night I knew my marriage wasn't just in trouble. It was over. After Lisa stormed out that night, the silence in the house was deafening. The kids tiptoed back upstairs, whispering between themselves, probably wondering if their parents were about to split for good. I sat there at the kitchen table, staring at the empty chair she'd just vacated, feeling like the whole foundation of my life had been ripped out from under me. You know that sinking feeling you get when you realize you've lost something you'll never get back? That was me. My hands were shaking, my chest tight, and for the first time in years, I actually cried. Not a couple tears, ugly, heaving sobs I couldn't stop. The thought that my children were upstairs hearing their dad break down like that gutted me even more. I barely slept that night. Every creak of the house made me think she was coming back. Every car door outside had me glancing at the window, heart racing. But she didn't come home until 3 a.m. When she finally walked in, she didn't look guilty or apologetic. No. She looked smug. Her hair was messy, her makeup smudged, and she reeked of perfume that wasn't hers. The second I saw her, I knew where she'd been. "Don't look at me like that," she snapped, dropping her purse on the counter. I needed space. "You were suffocating me tonight with all your paranoia." Paranoia. That damn word again. I stood up, voice low but trembling with rage. "Don't insult me, Lisa. I know exactly where you were. I can smell him on you." She froze, lips curling into that cruel little smirk she'd perfected over the years. "So what if I was? You think you're the perfect husband, Mark? You think doing the dishes and mowing the lawn makes you enough? You stopped making me feel alive a long time ago." My knees nearly gave out. She wasn't even denying it anymore. No excuses, no half-truths. Just, cold honesty meant to slice me apart. I wanted to scream, but I kept my voice even, for the kids upstairs. "Do you even care what this is doing to them? To our family? Or is your little fling more important than your own children?" Her eyes narrowed. "Don't you dare use the kids against me. They're fine. They'll always have me. What do you really give them, Mark? A tired dad who comes home late and zones out in front of the TV?" That one broke something inside me. Because as much as it hurt, a part of me wondered if she believed it. If maybe she'd been rewriting the story of our marriage in her head for months, twisting me into the villain so she could justify what she was doing. She grabbed a blanket from the couch and muttered, "I'm sleeping downstairs. Don't bother talking to me until you're ready to admit your part in this mess." My part. Like I was the reason she'd been sneaking around, lying, and kissing some random guy in an appliance shop. I went upstairs, kissed my kids on their foreheads while they slept, and stood there in the doorway for a long time. I promised myself then and there, no matter what happened with Lisa, I wasn't going to let her lies poison what I had with them. But deep down, I already knew, my marriage was broken beyond repair. The morning after she slept downstairs, I woke up with the kind of clarity that only comes after you've been completely wrecked. My eyes were swollen, my head pounding, but my resolve was sharp. I couldn't keep living like this, walking on eggshells while my wife lied to my face and laughed behind my back. I got the kids ready for school by myself. Lisa didn't even bother coming upstairs to say goodbye, she stayed buried in a blanket on the couch, scrolling her phone like nothing had happened. When the kids were out the door, I sat down at the kitchen table with my laptop and typed, "Divorce lawyer" near me. Just seeing those words on the screen made my stomach churn. Divorce wasn't a word I ever thought would apply to me. But here I was, looking at attorney profiles, reading testimonials from other broken people who'd been in my shoes. Later that day, I confided in my buddy Dave from work. He's been married 20 years, solid guy. When I told him everything, the vacuum obsession, the texts, the late nights, the smug smirks, he didn't sugarcoat it. He just said, "Mark, she's not even trying to hide it. She's checked out. You need to protect yourself and your kids." Hearing it from someone else hit hard. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't paranoid. This was real. That evening, I came home ready to tell Lisa I wanted a separation. But of course, she had one last performance up her sleeve. She greeted me in the kitchen with a candle lit, makeup on, dinner half prepared. "Mark," she said softly, almost too softly, "I've been thinking. Maybe we should try counseling. Maybe I've made mistakes. But we can fix this if you'll just stop spying on me and trust me again." For a split second, my heart twisted. 11 years of marriage doesn't just vanish. Part of me wanted to believe her. But then I remembered the messages, the kiss, the perfume, the way she told me another man made her feel alive. I looked her dead in the eye and said, "Counseling doesn't work if one person keeps lying. You made your choice, Lisa. And now I'm making mine." Her face hardened instantly, all softness gone. "Fine. If that's how you want it, don't blame me when the kids hate you for tearing this family apart." That was the final nail. Not guilt, not remorse, just another attempt to weaponize the kids against me. And that's when I knew, I was done being her doormat. The next week was a blur of lawyer consultations, paperwork, and quiet moments where I tried to keep life normal for the kids. I didn't tell them everything, how could I? But I made sure they knew one thing: Dad wasn't going anywhere. Lisa, on the other hand, didn't make it easy. She alternated between icy silence and venomous outbursts. One day she'd slam doors and call me a coward, the next she'd cry crocodile tears about how she never meant for it to go this far. But not once, did she say she was sorry. Not once did she admit what she'd done was wrong. The day I signed the separation papers, I sat in my car afterward and just breathed. It wasn't relief, not exactly. More like the weight of years of lies had finally shifted off my shoulders. My marriage was over, but at least my sanity wasn't. Lisa moved into her sister's place not long after, spinning her own version of the story to anyone who'd listen. According to her, I was controlling, paranoid, obsessed with catching her doing something wrong. I didn't bother correcting her anymore. People who wanted to believe her lies could have them. I was done fighting ghosts. At night, after the kids were asleep, I'd sit in the quiet house and think about what I'd learned. Love without trust isn't love, it's a trap. Gaslighting is poison, and when someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time. So here I am, Reddit, a guy who thought he had the perfect boring marriage, only to find out he'd been sharing a house with a stranger. I lost my wife to lies, manipulation, and a salesman with better suction power. But I didn't lose myself. And I sure as hell won't lose my kids. If you're reading this and you feel that gnawing in your gut, the one that whispers something isn't right, don't ignore it. Trust your instincts. Dig deeper. Confront the lies. Because sometimes the ugliest truth is better than living in a beautiful lie.